singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to arise.
Hmm. Hmm. I work a lot, so in my free time, I really I chill out. Like, I'm normal, you know, with just like a little crazy job.
So speaking of your dorky, silly personality, we see a lot of that on your Twitter profile, which, by the way, for those listening,
you can find me on Twitter at August Ames XXX. That's AMES XXX.
We had just spent a year making a podcast about the tech takeover of the porn industry. We'd found a porn world that seemed like a kind of family. People looked out for each other. But 6 months after we left, something terrible happened.
I'm recording.
So she tweeted out, I believe on December 3rd, that she did not want to do a scene with this particular male performer that she had never heard of.
This is August Ames's husband, Kevin.
She didn't feel comfortable doing it.
August's first tweet that day was, "Whichever lady performer is replacing me tomorrow for Erotica X News, you're shooting with a guy who has shot gay porn. Just to let you know, I do my homework for my body." Gay performers were offended, and they told her so. The next tweet read, "Not homophobic. Most girls don't shoot with guys who have shot gay porn for safety." The pile-on intensified, and so she tweeted, "Sorry. Honestly, I'm sorry if I offended anyone." And then August's final tweet, "Fuck you all."
She couldn't look away from that phone. And I would constantly be like, let's get away from this. And she would be like, oh, okay. And then she would like fall right back into it. She said, I'm going to go tanning. I'm going to go to the gym. We hugged and said, I love you to each other. And she walked out that door and disappeared. Within an hour of her leaving, I had started texting her and no response. And I must have called her thousands of times that night. I have never felt dread like that. And then the next morning is when the coroners contacted me. She had taken her life in a park in Camarillo.
Kevin has written a statement about August's death. He wants to post it today, straight after this interview. In it, he names names. He pins much of the blame on the porn star Jessica Drake. Quote, "Miss Drake caused irreparable harm by using her followers and stature in an attempt to silence and bully a young, impressionable woman."
You know, I'm not going to deny this. I'm angry. I lost the woman I loved to a bunch of people's stupid opinions on social media. So am I supposed to just roll over?
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens is different to everyone else out there on the market. It is one of the best all-in-one whole food supplements available on the planet Earth. And it is the most complete whole food supplement developed over 10 years by doctors, nutritionists, and naturopaths, available with 75 whole food sourced ingredients. And they got you covered in the 5 key areas of health. One scoop has the antioxidant equivalent of 12 servings of fruit and vegetables. That's fucking incredible. And it doesn't taste like shit. Athletic Greens replaces the fistful of supplements that you may be taking now and adds critical nutritional support that you need. So, for me, what's awesome about Athletic Greens is I'm on the road all the time. I'm always traveling. I'm always running away. But I'm running away? What am I running away from? I'm running around, that's what I meant to say. But I'm always concerned with my health. And I'm always concerned about my diet and making sure that I've got my nutritional needs covered. Well, one of the beautiful things is they have these travel packs. I take these motherfuckers with me all the time on the road, and they got you covered. One scoop of Athletic Greens, I take it when I wake up in the morning or whenever I eat, and I know I got my bases covered. But these travel packs are the shit, and they have a special deal for listeners of this podcast. They're giving you 20 free travel packs valued at $99 with your first purchase. It's just a smart thing to do, fuckers. Get your nutritional needs covered. Getting into a daily routine with Athletic Greens really will be an amazing thing. The number of multi-use effective at Get Quick, My Privacy at 3 months.
Hey, they are, man. And that's what I figure is my next step in the tale. My next chapter as, what's her name? The girl that everyone loves. The girl, the singer. She's real tall and skinny.
Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I can't remember anybody's name anymore.
There's so many people to remember.
Yeah. Well, she said she's on to her next chapter, and that's how I feel, too. And it's going to be about talking to women about how to raise functional sons. This is needed in America, and I'm going to step up and do it. Because all these tales, what with all the news and such, it's obvious to me these women have not raised their sons correctly, and I'm going to correct them because I'm tired of them yapping and fucking bitching and moaning. I'm old. I'm going to tell you what to do to raise decent sons, women.
Well, your son said something when they were doing the little tour of the studio. They saw the picture of Rosa Parks, and your son said, "That's Rosa Parks." And I said, "You're one of the few people that ever just pointed that out and noticed it." And he goes, "Of course." He goes, "Roseanne's my mom. She raised me right."
Oh, that's sweet. Isn't that sweet? That's getting the, what do you call it? What did they call it? I don't know. Pat on the back.
Yeah, it is
What's
a pat on the
back. What's the modern
back.
vernacular?
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't
There's
know.
some slang.
Well,
I hear them.
it's
I try to
correct.
stay hip, but I can't fucking do it.
Well, you obviously did a great job.
Shout out. It's a shout out.
Yes.
Yeah, to
He
the
gave you a
mom.
shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out to the moms. How you holding up? Everything good with you right now?
Well, I'm smoking like a bitch. Which
How
I
often do you
hate.
smoke?
Every day.
Were you smoking before all this
Oh,
happened?
hell no. Well,
you just-
secretly.
Secretly.
Doug Stanhope got me back on the bastard.
You son of a bitch.
I quit for like 15 years, and Doug Stanhope snuck. Every time I see Doug, I'd smoke one. That bastard. He's got an evil spell on me.
Oh, he's an evil little man. He's sober right now. No cigarettes for him either. Yeah.
That he always says that.
No, he's doing Sober October.
Are y'all doing Sober October?
Yes.
Wow. Why didn't you ask me? I would have sobered up for it.
Would you?
No.
No, you wouldn't have done it.
No, I want to do.
Get fucked up
I want to go to
October?
Retox.
Retox
Yeah.
instead of detox?
Yeah. That's what my boyfriend Johnny calls it. He goes, it's time to retox.
How many cigarettes are you smoking a day now?
Well, no, who's counting?
You just keep smoking them?
I'm smoking less than 10.
Less than 10's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
as good
I was
as zero.
smoking a lot. See, I'm cutting it by 10 every week.
Oh, okay. So,
next week it'll be down to 1
okay.
a day, all week.
One a day's not bad.
And I'll see how I deal with it, if anyone dies.
This whole thing has been completely fucking insane. And you
Really?
caught it. Yeah, I know. I don't have to tell you. But you caught this madness, this outrage culture right at the peak. I think
Yeah, I did.
you hit peak outrage culture.
Thank you.
Well, people didn't give a fuck if you were making a joke. Didn't give a fuck if you had no idea that lady was black. Didn't give a fuck what your mental state was. Didn't give a fuck if you were on Ambien. Didn't give a fuck if you were drinking. Didn't give a fuck if you
One thing I've
sincerely
learned, Joe-
apologized.
Oh, go ahead. I do want to talk seriously about that.
But they didn't care that you sincerely apologized and didn't mean to offend. You were cracking a joke about a woman.
It was funny how they've mischaracterized it and lied about it and added words to it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I like to talk about the tweet. But, yeah, I seriously apologize to all whom I inadvertently offended. And because they were offended for, like, it wasn't even what they say they were offended because it didn't say that.
No.
But they think that I said she looked like somebody. And I never said anything about her looks. It was a political tweet. And it's just proof of how everybody's under mass mind control because they took a, and of course I'm always interested in that, You know that. I've talked about
mass mind control?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's
MK Ultra.
self-imposed. That's what I think. I think people are under the wave of self-imposed mind control. I don't think it's like there's anybody pulling the strings.
You mean you think you can get out of it?
No, I don't think anyone's pulling the strings. I don't think this is
You
by design.
don't?
No, I don't. I don't think it's by design. I think
Really?
people are caught up in a wave of fear and paranoia
Yeah.
and political correctness. And I think one of the reasons why they attack someone like you is, first of all, you're wealthy and successful and famous.
And beautiful.
You are beautiful.
Thank you.
And one of the best comics of all time.
Oh, thank you so
And
much.
you're also you're an easy target. You're
Yeah.
a white woman.
Well,
and
I don't
you're
identify as a white woman.
What do you identify as?
I identify as a Jew.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And this is what you thought this woman was as well. What is her
Well,
name
she
again?
looks like my cousin Sharon. She looks just like my cousin. But it wasn't nothing to do with how she looks. That came after my tweet.
But the
no,
looks, but wasn't it about the Planet of the Apes?
It was about the work of her hands, what she engineered in Iran. And I'd been on there talking about I call it a woman's revolution in Iran for years, and speaking to people in Iran about it and what it means to the women who are second-class citizens there. And so if you take that one tweet out of probably I tweet a lot, so it's probably
you go crazy.
400,000.
You get on tweet
No,
storms.
I don't go crazy. I stay crazy. I admit it. I mean, what the fuck? They're like, you know what? You've said you're crazy for years, and you know what? You're crazy. Well, yeah, I said it for fucking years.
Well, it's also one of the
All
reasons
of
why
us
you're
are
so
crazy.
funny. Yeah.
All comics are fucking nutso.
100%.
At least I don't wash my keys like some. I
Wash
know
their
some
keys?
guys, they got to wash their keys 5, 6, 7 times before they can go on stage. What's his name? Oh, I'm so bad on names. Chris Farley. I always ask comics, I ask them, what's your secret number? What's yours, Joe?
I don't have a secret number.
You don't have a number?
No.
You don't have to do something a number of times? You don't have a number?
No, I don't have a
What's your
number.
birth date?
8/11/67.
8. What's that, August?
August.
8/11/67. You were born in 1967?
Yes.
Jesus F. Christ. I was in the Utah State Hospital when you were born.
What were you doing? Giving birth?
No, I was in a mental institution.
Whoa.
That was my first hospitalization. It lasted for 9 months, and it was the Utah State Hospital in Provo, where the Osmonds are from. So I was always a big Marie Osmond fan.
The mental health aspect of this conversation is an important one because here's my take on this.
It's extremely important.
It is important. And yesterday was Mental Health Awareness Day.
Yes, I know. And I was quite aware of being mentally healthy yesterday as I was smoking.
If someone
and eating
has
cheese. All I eat is cheese.
If someone has an injured leg, you don't expect them to run marathons. If someone has something wrong with their liver, you don't expect them to process food correctly. You don't blame it on them. But if someone has a mental health issue and they do something erratic,
Yeah.
or they say something that's inappropriate and then they apologize for it,
Or if they're a comedian.
and you've had legitimate, real, diagnosed, treated mental health issues, trauma-related issues. There you go.
How do you like that,
Like
baby?
it. It's a little.
I can do the
I think you do better.
alphabet.
Can you?
Yeah, hells
Congratulations. But for whatever reason, people
Mm-hmm.
want to pretend that this is a deliberate act by a calculating person who is
Yeah.
just being an asshole. And that's
Yeah.
not the case. You're not an asshole.
Not at this time. I have been an asshole
but you
on
weren't.
Twitter.
But you
for a long
weren't.
time, yeah.
That's not what you were doing.
No,
But-
I was talking about Iran and the women's revolution there, and how, and it's always been, because you know what, I had my DNA done, because I wanted to know, and I am of North African ancestry.
How much?
It's like a very small percentage, but It was something like 25,000 years ago. They left North Africa, which is kind of Syria, and they went to Lithuania and Russia and some Europe.
Did you do like 23andMe or something like that? Yeah.
And it just answered so many questions for, why I feel this yearning towards that part of the world. But I do, and especially the geopolitics there are something that have always intrigued me. And I have always attempted to use my voice to, support all the people there.
Well, it's a fascinating
part
of the world.
So it was, this one tweet was like about, it's actually a genius tweet if you really fucking knew.
What did you say? What exactly did you say? Let's find the tweet, Jamie.
I'll tell you if it's the artificially rendered.
There's an artificially rendered one?
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
What, people distorted what you actually said?
Yeah, first it was racist Roseanne, and then about a couple weeks later it was disgraced comic Roseanne and her racist tweet, and then after that it was disgraced comic and her offensive racist tweet, because there's all these hoops you got to jump through. They're never done punishing you.
Well, like we were saying before, and the podcast
all my friends
started,
said, don't apologize to social justice warriors, because that's the kiss of death. That's fucking chum in the water, blood in the water.
There's definitely a little bit of that. But what I was saying before the podcast to you is I don't really. What I really think happens is they find a target, and they don't care if it's a viable target. But once the target gets greenlit, they go after you until some new target comes along, until some new distraction.
They always have to have a target,
yes.
for sure.
And it's recreational outrage. They find they attack you, and they go after you, and they try to distort your position. And even if they don't know what
the fuck you said.
Right.
And obviously they don't. That's what kind of cracks me up. It's like, look at this. Look what they're saying it meant. And, I'm not going to bow down before them and say you were right, and they want me to. But they weren't right. I'm right. I wrote it, bitch. So I know what I meant. So you don't fucking get to tell me what I meant.
But they don't care. This is the thing, is they don't want to look at it rationally and say, here's a woman that has a history of mental health problems. She was on Ambien and drinking, and she says something that is slightly irrational, but given your explanation of it, you didn't
Joe,
even know that she was black.
You and Doug both always think all my tweets make no sense. You've been saying that for fucking years. Since I went on Twitter, you're like, her tweets are just fucking straight up crazy.
Well, you have some crazy tweets for sure.
I don't think they're crazy. You just don't get them.
Well, maybe if I was in the same mindset as you, I would get them.
Yeah, but obviously no one is.
But when I say crazy, I think they're fun.
I know I don't think like other people. Right. I know that. I've always known that my whole life. I'd always test other people to see what they were thinking. Like, even as a kid, I'd be like, but I try to fit in. They go, let's play Barbies, and I'm like, fucking, I don't want to. I'm like, okay. Well, but let's have Barbie be a resistance fighter that paratroops into the hidden lines of the German thing and save all the Jews. And they'd go, you have to be her cousin Skipper. And then they'd hand me the Skipper doll. I always had to personify Skipper, and they got to be Barbie.
I didn't even know Barbie had a cousin.
Yeah, Skipper, she has little tiny tits. And I resented that. Because I always had very large pendulous breasts since I was 4 or 5. I did. I don't think or look like other people. I think I'm an alien, really.
What planet do you think you'd be from?
Well, somebody told me I was from Pleiades. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, that's the people that call the Art Bell show. They would always say that from Pleiades.
Yeah, they say round faces are from Pleiades. See, you got a round face. That's what I told you. I don't even go by what people look like, except for I do look at the shape of their head, I have to admit. That's how I classify people. I classify people my own way because I don't think like everybody else thinks. I take a person's shape of their head, and that's the group they represent to me. And I have noticed that the Dutch have the largest heads.
They're big people.
The Dutch have pure square, not all of them, of course, but some of them.
You know, the average height for a Dutch person is like 6 feet tall.
I know.
Yeah, huge,
for the women.
Huge folks. Yeah. Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings.
Yeah.
I love all the different peoples of the earth because they all have a variety of foods that I enjoy. So I like to, I don't just mix with one kind of person in my real life. I mix with all kind of people, and because I'll go anywhere for a free meal. But I love cultures, and I love all people. That's all I want to say.
Well,
I would never. I'm not that person. So
you're not a racist by any stretch of the imagination, but you are a person that
my
will
son
make
said
fun
I'm
of
a
anything.
misanthrope. I'm a misanthrope.
You are a misanthrope, but that's.
I am a respectress of no man or woman.
But most comedians,
Yeah, we're all like that, right?
some misanthropic intentions or
You have to hate
behaviors.
all people the same.
But you definitely have to mock and make. I mean, it's part of
Yeah.
the job description.
Yeah,
you
you gotta
mock
mock.
and make fun of, and you look for things that are irritating about everything.
No shit, right?
Yeah, that's part of the
funny
job.
stuff.
Not only that was part of your character on your show.
Yeah.
It was part of the reason why ABC wanted you back. It's part of the reason why the show became such a giant hit in its return. I mean, it was a fucking huge hit coming right out of the gate.
Yep. 28 million people.
That's a lot of fucking people
And it was
today.
number one every episode.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. And a lot of that was because people love this aspect of you. But as soon as you get labeled a racist, everybody throws their hands up and goes, whoa, I didn't know she was racist.
Yeah.
She's racist. And they don't care about nuance. They don't care about the details. They don't care about Ambien. They don't care about alcohol. When I called you on the phone, it was the first thing that I asked you.
One thing I've learned, Joe, if you're going to take an Ambien, do not drink a beer. Always only drink a wine
Yes.
with Ambien.
I have a good friend of mine who is one of the nicest, most respectful guys you ever want to meet. He woke up in Germany on a plane, covered in his own vomit, with the police standing over him, asking him if he knew what happened. He wound up getting arrested. They brought him to the jail in Germany, and he's a CEO of a large company. And they went over things with him, and they said, what happened? What do you remember? He goes, well, I remember taking an Ambien, and then I went to sleep, and then I had, I guess I had a beer at some point in time.
Yeah.
And they go, okay, stop. This is what happened. And so they describe how he was hitting on the stewardesses and trying to start fights with men in the cabin and
he's
threw
being
up
his
all
real
over
self.
himself. It wasn't his being his real self. He was on Ambien.
Yeah, I know. It distorts things.
He's the nicest guy. If you knew this guy, you would never in a million years believe that he was capable of anything remotely like this. And the German people actually let him stay in the country. They let him continue his vacation. They're like, okay.
They forgave him?
You promise not to do that again? He goes, I'm never fucking taking that shit again in my life.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I said to you when I called you up, I said, what were you doing? Well, and you told me you were on Ambien. And I said, okay, we'll stop right there because I know quite a bit about that because I've had personal experiences with friends that have had real